My God.
Okay, hi,
What
I'm
was
Miss
it?
Trotter. We're with Smart Business Moves today, and our guest is Tom Stewart. Hey, Tom.
Hi, how are you?
I'm quite well. I'm glad you're able to make it here today. Ah,
Well, we're
uh,
just getting started. It's nowhere to go but up, right?
hey, Denise. Did you catch that, Denise? Were you here when Tom joked?
Not sure what happened there.
That was interesting, Tom. Never seen you do that one before. That was good. I
Mhm.
liked it. Hey, what is this weird background I have? Look at my background.
What do you mean?
This is the really old Smart Business Moves background. I
Oh
think.
yeah, yeah, that's the money thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not mine. Where's my background? That's interesting. Oh, I'm sorry, Tom. You're choking there. Let me see if I
Yeah,
can
that's
lock my
okay.
background. Hmm. I don't know where this background even came from. Cam, Mike, stop, Cam, share, invite. Maybe here. Here we go. I bet I got it. So, what are we talking about today, Tom?
High school band competitions?
Well, that is what we were talking about while we're waiting for everybody else. So, yeah, why don't you share a little bit about
Sure.
that? I actually think it's kind of interesting. It's kind of
My
exciting,
s-
actually.
my son plays in his high school marching band, and they just won the state championship last weekend, and they're going to be going to Indianapolis for what they call the Grand Nationals, the national championship this weekend. So I'm going to be going to Indianapolis in a couple of days to watch a bunch of high school marching bands from all over the country. And yeah, it's kind of cool. We're excited about that.
How long are you going to be there, Tom?
I'm going to be there till Saturday night. The whole thing wraps up Saturday night really late. I'm going to get up Sunday morning, and actually, I'm going to get on a plane Sunday morning in Indianapolis and go out to wherever it is, Las Vegas.
Vegas. Okay. Because that's what I was wondering. We have to be in Vegas. All right.
Yeah,
Well, Monday. What time are you getting in?
into Vegas.
Yeah. I come in Sunday or
Sometime.
Saturday?
I'm getting there Sunday. I don't know, afternoon late.
Well, I'm getting in really late, like 10:30 on that night. Let's see. Did I get us fixed? Did I get my green screen fixed?
Yeah, you're
I did.
you're current. You got the
I don't know.
2021 version.
Yeah. Don't know why it does that every periodically, but yes, Liz, it is. Yay, thank you. Wow. I know, super exciting. So what is he thinking? Does he think that he actually has a chance? Richard, I mean, sorry.
Yeah, they think they're going to do well. I mean, the way the whole thing works is they have preliminaries Thursday and Friday, and then the 12 best bands from there play Saturday for what they call the finals.
Okay.
They did a super regional somewhere in Alabama a few weeks ago, several weeks ago, maybe a month ago, and they took first place there as well. So they think that they're one of the better bands in the country. But there's a lot of really good bands in the country, so who knows? But
Super exciting now. It's kind of
yeah,
like sports, right? You have to be, or I'm guessing it's exactly like sports. You just keep whittling it down until we get to who's the best in the land. And just to get to this level, you've got to be really, really, really good.
the
So,
thing about sports, and I've gone through that with some of the kids as well, is
uh,
typically a competition with like there's room you can screw up and still kind of get back, but at this level you got like 200 and some odd kids running around, and if just anybody screws up it kind of blows it. So
yeah.
there's not much of an opportunity to say, okay, we'll just come back and we're still in it. It's an anyway, like I'm saying, I don't even understand half of it, but
Yeah. Well, I think it sounds exciting. I just realized, Tom, that you mentioned before we got on here that we should probably mention Peter.
yeah. um and I know a number of us in the industry have known Peter for a long time. I met Peter, it had to be like maybe 2004. It was when we were first getting ARCSI going, and He was like one of the original. We didn't really have a board of it, like a formal board, but it was like an advisory council, and he was one of the original, founders in that group that help get ARCSI started. I know that you know he was active in the industry for a long time. You would always see him at events,
Yeah.
at convention. It's going to be kind of weird going to convention this year and knowing that Peter's not going to be there.
Yeah. I felt like that with the first year that Teresa, I was like really hard, and they're such close. I'm pretty sure they were best friends.
Yeah, Teresa Ward was a very good friend of Peter's. I mean, they were really close,
Really.
and you know, she was a big part of getting ARCSI started as well. She had a really large, successful cleaning company in Long Island, and I think a lot of you guys probably know Teresa Ward. And she passed away suddenly with a heart attack. It must have been several years ago now.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
It's hard to say because it always feels like such a short amount of time. But then when you ask somebody, they're like, no, it's been 5 years. But it never seems like
yeah.
it's that long.
And Peter had a heart attack, I understand it, and had a series of them, I guess, over a course of a week, and
Yeah.
just didn't quite make it. So anyway, for all of us who enjoy the community that we share in as cleaning business owners, especially with ARCSI, but a lot of things have spun off of that with ARCSI. Just the fact that we're able to communicate and share in this manner. A lot of people did things a long time ago to kind of create that community,
Yeah.
and Peter certainly contributed to that.
Yeah, absolutely. He was a fun guy. I mean, it was never boring if Peter was around, ever.
No, he, Peter. If Peter was in the room, you knew it.
Yeah, everybody knew it. Yeah. He's going to be absolutely missed by a lot of people. A lot of people. He touched a lot of people's lives.
So this is about 2:00 in Las Vegas time, I guess. So a week from now, are you gonna be presenting, Liz, or maybe a little bit
An
later?
hour. Yep, 1 hour. Like a week and 45 minutes. 1 week and 45 minutes I'll be presenting. Yep.
So if you haven't bought your tickets yet for ARCSI and made your travel arrangements for the convention, the window is still open. I mean, you can still do it.
Well,
I think
oh, sorry, Tom, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I mean, it's just my understanding that a lot of people have been signing up here real recently. I mean,
Yeah.
it's kind of a rush, and it's not unusual. I mean, we see that more and more with live events, that people just kind of wait for the last minute and say, okay, I think I'm going to go.
I know quite a few people. Actually, Sherry Weavers just emailed me. Oh, I did like a Hot Topic Tuesday for ARCSI on Tuesday. And she emailed me on Thursday or Friday, I think it was, saying that because of that Hot Topic Tuesday, she's now coming to convention. So she remembered this thing. I wish I had her email up, but she wrote something along the lines of that it reminded her that even if she gave me examples of 2 things that she got out of that presentation, and she said, and it reminded me that even if I only get 1.5% out of the events that I go to, those could be making the big difference. And she lives in Canada, and it is a chunk of change for her to head over here. She's looking at some big money. She's making it happen.
And just the mechanics of that. I mean, I went to Vancouver, I guess it was 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And you had to get a COVID test, like one of the not the rapid one, but the one that takes like a day or so to get back.
The real one.
You had to get one of those right before you left, and then you had to get another one in Canada in order to get back into the US. And if something happened and you were in Canada and it didn't work, you had to quarantine for for 10 days. So I guess it's the same deal with Sherry. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe things have changed over the last couple of weeks. I know the COVID numbers have been dropping a lot. So
Yeah.
maybe it's not as bad, but
Still,
what the heck?
everybody's still nervous about COVID. And I know we got kind of lucky where everybody was worried going back to school was going to, make things spike and get bad again. We got kind of lucky there. But here we are going into the colder weather. So there is a concern there as well, going back into fall and winter. So,
Well,
fingers crossed.
they had a webinar on Friday and I missed it. I don't know, Liz, did you have a chance to see it? They were going to be talking about all the safety precautions and things they're going to be doing. I think there's going to be masks required for some of it, I think, right?
Yep, for sure. And you have to have your immunization card for some things. I don't remember what those things are, but you have to bring your card with you or show something where you recently had a test within 48 hours or something. So
I'm going to make a note.
The other really big piece that a lot of people didn't know about, haven't heard about, is that there are no shuttles this year. So we really should make a point of that, making sure that everybody knows, depending on I guess it doesn't matter which hotel you stay in, there are no ARCSI shuttles or ISSA shuttles this year. So if you're planning on staying in one place and you're trying to figure out where to go, one thing that is nice about Bally's, which is the convention hotel or the ARCSI hotel, preferred hotel, where they're going to have the round tables. And I don't know if they have any other events. Do you, Tom? I don't remember seeing any other events.
I am not sure.
No. I don't remember seeing like a welcome reception or anything that we have seen in the past. I think they're most likely trying to keep the large groups to a minimum as much as possible. But if that's not a concern for you to stay with all of the events, and I'm not sure exactly what those are, you might want to stay at a hotel that's closer to the convention center. I don't know. But one thing that is good about Bally's is that they do have the tram, and it's pretty close. I would say 5-minute walk from the hotel to the tram, and then a bit of a ride, and then the walk from the tram to the actual convention center is just a couple of minutes, like 2-3 minutes. So it's pretty convenient. That is.
Yeah, it's not a big deal to get around. It isn't. No. And the weather's usually nice, and it's not a bad walk.
It's supposed to be really nice. Is the walk from Bally's, can you walk from Bally's to the convention center?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I am pretty sure.
Oh, yeah. I had no idea it was that close. I knew the tram was a really good option.
Well, hey, I'll look it up while we're... Sorry?
I was asking, I see that Denit's on here. I was wondering if she's going. If you are, all the strategic success group members, we're going to meet on Monday night. Robin, if you're on here, we had said Wednesday, but it won't work because we have too many people that are leaving early. So Monday night, while Tom's looking this up. Okay. It's okay, Denit. You got a lot of work to do. All right.
So... I'll get to walk into this, but this is the ARCSI agenda. So, yeah, you're going to be speaking at 3:00 on Monday. Tuesday, let's see what's going on at the end. Roundtables, and that's going to be at Bally's. So it looks like it's the first event. It looks like that's the first thing going on at Bally's.
At night, it doesn't look like there's anything other than that going on at Bally's. I didn't see anything else.
No.
Nope. So, but it is very convenient. Monday it is. Great, Robin. Thanks. We'll get times and all that stuff, all that details later. So, Tom, what are we talking about? Oh, you guys wait first before he gets rid of that. Did you see that? Marcus is going to be there. bright and early Monday. So that should be a great start to the convention too. Oh, is this the walk?
Well, that's a drive. Let's see if I'm walking what it does. I'm sorry, that's a bit of a walk. It's 38. It's almost 2 miles.
45 minutes.
It's a 2 mile walk.
Hmm. It's not
It's
that
probably
far. Why does it say 40,
yeah.
45 minutes? Is that how long
Well,
it takes?
38 if you go the 1.9 mile route right here.
I can't really see it very well. I'm just kind of basically guessing. Ah, there we go. I was good with that 46 minutes there. All right, so as little as 38 minutes. So if it's moderate weather, that's kind of a nice walk. Eat your breakfast on the run or on the walk.
But if I
Hey,
take,
how far is it? Do me a favor, Tom. I got that up. I'm staying at New York, New York. How far is that?
oh, I don't know.
Tom, look it up. You're right there. And anybody that wants to come see me at New York, New York, you could do that.
But
What are you looking
here we are at the convention center, and here we are at Bally's.
That looks really close.
This is Flamingo Caesars. Bally's right here. You can get on the tram and
The tram is so nice too. It really is super convenient. What are you looking at here so that I could figure out what to search for?
You want me to?
Yeah, do it for me, Tom.
Sure. I'm on.
I know you guys are all just so excited to find out how long it's going to take me to get to. There it is, New York, New York Hotel and Casino. Yay! See how far away I am.
Holy cow!
It's not that
It's
far.
It's a 31-minute tram ride. If you're walking, let's see what it is.
Ooh,
It's like an hour. It's like 3 miles. How about a bike?
This is far.
You can get a bike and do it in 60.
Yeah, I'm
or
not
there's no flights available.
There's what?
There are no airplanes available. No flights
Okay,
available.
well that's okay. But they do have a tram, right? The tram.
Oh yeah, the tram should do you. Yeah, you got a little bit of a walk to get to. You got to catch it at MGM Grand.
Yeah. All right, that's okay. Okay, so what are we talking about today, Tom? Now that we have talked about convention.
Oh, this is important stuff.
No, it is.
Convention.
No, it is. And I'm very much looking forward to it this year. It's going to be a different experience. It's been a long time since we've all gotten together. So Smart Transportation moves from the airport to the Strip. They usually do have a hotel shuttle, Robin. So I've always taken a hotel shuttle.
And it's kind of a luck of the draw, though. Some of them you're going to be on it for a while and go into a lot of different hotels before you. So,
That's
make
true.
sure you.
I've spent 45 minutes before on the shuttle going from the airport just because they make so many stops. Lily, the convention is November 15th through the 18th. I think it is Uber. Shuttle's out of business. Whoa, the shuttle's out of business. Oh, wow. Interesting. Okay. Well, Uber works well. Another thing you can do is, depending on when you're getting in, a lot of times people will ride share because so many people are coming in to go to the convention. So, yeah, Lily, if you show up at the convention, show up at my session at 3:00 on Monday. Actually, I have quite a few sessions this year. I have a bunch of small sessions too. So later on in the week, I'm hoping to see my people there. Robin,
We're going to be there. We certainly want to be there for Marcus. He's going to basically do two, pretty much, book out the morning for Monday. But we had Marcus on here. It was Wednesday, wasn't it?
Yeah, Wednesday.
And he's a very dynamic speaker. He's got a lot of really good information, and he engages his audience. I mean, he does. It's not like it's a canned presentation. He just like hangs out in the audience and he just create. I mean, he's got a theme and he's got a point, but a lot of it is just impromptu, and he kind of makes it work with where the audience wants to take it. So
yes, Lily, in Vegas. And yes, absolutely. He is super engaging. I don't know. He's amazing. He is very inspirational too. It's interesting because you can hear him say the same thing that you might have heard somewhere else, but it sounds doable. It sounds like, yes, yes, I can do that. That makes good sense. Are you giving Lily a link, Tom? She wants to know how she can get the information. Maybe post
I,
that link that you just
I,
had.
I can do that. Da-da-da-da.
Lily, have you ever been before? If you haven't, I don't know where you're located or anything, but do your best to get there. This is the first one that we've had in a couple of years, and it's going to be amazing. I've never missed one since I got into, well, I guess since I got into ARCSI and found out about them, I've never missed one. And I have always found them to be valuable. I come home, even if I didn't get any ideas, and I always do get a lot of great ideas, but even if I didn't, I come home so energized and motivated. And it's so inexpensive this year. You cannot beat the price. It's less than $200 for a full access pass this year, Lily. So yeah, if you can make it, you will never regret that you did. Some of my best friends I met at convention. Yeah, actually, I think most of my best friends I met at convention years ago. Actually, Tom and I we met at convention, didn't we, Tom? Pretty sure.
Probably. Certainly happened through ARCSI. I mean, you're going to meet a lot of people. If you've never been to one of these events, the networking is in and of itself is worth the trip.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think most people value the networking at least as much as they do the education, at least. And the showroom floor too is awesome. I love the showroom floor. So yeah, if you can make it happen, make it happen. Come see me at 3:00 on Monday, and I will talk you around. I'll help you get acclimated too. I mean, we can connect earlier, but I'll for sure be speaking on Monday. All righty. So, well, we're using up our whole hour here, Tom. We got to talk about the topic, because isn't this the first one of the? No, it's not even close. Yeah, actually it is.
For what?
The first one of the topic for the month, because
No,
Wednesday we had
this is it. But
That's
Monday we had what did we do Monday? Monday was the first. Kedma was our guest on Monday.
Yeah, talking about.
And Kedma talked about SBA money and different ways of raising capital through debt.
Yeah, that was a great call, actually. For anybody that missed it, go back and watch it. It's definitely worth a replay on that. All right. So what are you? So Tom,
what do you want to talk about, Liz?
You're our expert today. You are the person that we're bringing on today because, and actually for me, of all the people I know, you pay more attention to the numbers and the money and how to be profitable than anybody else I know of in our industry, including the financial people, including those people that are accountants and bookkeepers, etc. So I wanted you on here to talk about a couple of your passions. You have a couple.
Yeah, I do, I guess. No, I do. And thank you for the kind thoughts. I don't know if all of that is necessarily true, but I'll take it.
It isn't. Come on. You know it is.
Well, I definitely believe that if you study the numbers, you can sleep better at night and you can make decisions with more confidence, and you can get predictable outcomes in your business. I mean, every once in a while, weird stuff happens, like unprecedented events, global pandemics and whatnot.
Yeah.
But as a rule, it's, it's a tough business, but if you are actually have the mechanics in place to capture data, it's like driving. Can you imagine driving a car without a gas gauge or a speedometer and trying to figure out if, and
Yeah.
this is like, not to mention like GPS, forget about that. But if you didn't have any of that stuff on the dashboard, how could you do it?
Well, you could do it, Tom. You would just have to make sure that you had enough money in savings to pay the speeding tickets and to,
The
manage.
tow truck when you run out of gas.
Yes, to manage all of the money that you're going to lose from not having that information, right? You could still do it, which is what I think a lot of people do right now. I love that analogy. That's pretty much what people do. I can totally run my business. I don't need that stuff. No, it's true. You don't. You're just going to struggle to be as profitable and to make money as easily and as quickly.
And how important that is and how sophisticated it needs to be, I guess in part changes depending upon your business model and what your aspirations are and how complex your business is. I mean, I know a lot of solopreneurs out there who have their own businesses that are, cleaning a house or two on their own, and they're their only employee. And I mean, you still have some accounting involved, and you still need, to have a basic understanding of your numbers. You want to, make sure that you're getting paid, fairly for the work that you're doing. But the complexity gets more, and the requirements get more, and the benefits get higher, and the risks get greater as you start hiring people and getting other expenses where you wind up with space costs and insurance costs and marketing costs and everything involved with hiring and maintaining a committed workforce, that if you're not measuring the outcomes, then you're basically just rolling the dice, just like we'll be doing in Vegas next
Vegas.
week.
Doesn't mean it's a great thing to do, y'all. Vegas is still around because they win more than we do.
So one of the big things that kind of ties into the discussions from last week, and I guess the general theme of finance as a whole, is a big part of finance is, where do you get your capital? Where do are you financing your business just through sweat equity? Are you like self-funded as a bootstrap operation? A lot of people start businesses that way and build businesses that way, where maybe they start off with a little bit of money of their own just to kind of get started, but for the most part, they're taking the money that they generate week after week, and they're putting it into the business and eventually grow it to be a very large business. And that's a viable way of starting a business. And there's a lot of people in this industry have been successful doing that. Yep. As you go from being the solopreneur to a larger company with employees and the costs that we talked about, though, there is this thing that happens from a profit standpoint, and we've talked about profit ad nauseum. We know what profit is at this point, right, Liz?
Yep. Well,
okay, so
we have different people watching all the time too. Hey, Rohan, that's you? Yep, that was me too. That's a lot of people out there.
Yeah, at the simplest level, it's the amount of money you have left over. It's the money your customers pay you when you subtract out all your expenses. In the simplest form, let's call that profit. Yeah. And if your customers are paying you more than what your expenses are, then you're making money. And if you're the only employee, that's also your salary. So it's pretty hard, I guess, to wind up not having something to take away from your labor each day. But once you start hiring other people, it's really possible to spend more money in a week than what your customers paying you or paid you. You wind up having to get somebody to do some office work for you. Maybe it's a VA initially, and you need to get some insurance, and you want to do some marketing and yada, 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 yada. And before you know it, you're spending more money than what your customers are paying you. And every time you think, okay, all I need to do is add 3 more homes to my schedule and I'm going to break even, what happens? You know,
Well,
Liz, what happens?
yeah. So the same. Hold on just a second, Tom.
What happens is you find out you've got another expense that pops up. It's like, oh, gee whiz, now that I've got, these 3 more homes, I'm going to have to buy more equipment, or I'm going to have to, I need a supervisor now, or whatever it is. And you're chasing it. And every time you grow from a number of home standpoint, from a revenue standpoint, revenue is the money your customers pay you for the service you provide. You wind up your expenses also grow, and sometimes even more. We call that the valley of despair. It's like you could be making more money as a solo cleaner than what you would be once you start growing, until you get to a point where you pop out the other side of the valley of despair. And at that point, you have a real, I say a real business. You have a business with employees and marketing and insurance and all the other things that you think about, with large cleaning companies. The trick is getting from one side of the valley of despair to the other. And if you're going to bootstrap it, you really got to keep those losses to a minimum, because you're basically doing it with your own money. So, at some point you can run out of money if you're bootstrapping. So you really got to know your numbers, and you can have a lot of sleepless nights doing it that way, because you can be cutting it tight and be laying in bed, Thursday night trying to figure out how am I going to make payroll Friday morning.
Yeah, and a lot of people are doing that for a long time too. So that's part of what we don't want to have people dealing with, because that is no way to run your life, right? Just be miserable week over week over week over week, especially when you don't have to.
But there's a lot of ways to be miserable. So
good point. Yes, there are.
I know that there are a lot of people in this industry, in the house cleaning, community, who own businesses, run businesses, that are, shall we say, risk adverse when it comes to taking on debt. A number of them are like disciples of Dave Ramsey. And Dave Ramsey has some really awesome material. And, there's a lot of people who have gone down the wrong path with debt, and he's straightened them out. And I think we could all benefit and learn by, philosophies that are put forth by people like Dave. And you can apply that to your business too, if you choose to, and you're bootstrapping, right? And
especially in the beginning.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that. But a lot of businesses do use debt as a tool to help bridge that gap from one side of the valley of despair getting to the other, or they use it as a tool once they've popped down the other side and they're profitable, but then they want to be even more profitable. They want to grow, and they need cash to do it. Maybe they need some vehicles. Maybe they maybe they want to do an acquisition and buy a competitor. Maybe they, want to, do something from a marketing standpoint that they've got good reason to believe, after research, is going to, generate a lot more business for them. But they need to build that new website. They need to do work with an SEO company to get their ranking where they need to, and they're burning cash that they're not going to be making back. They'll be making it back in the years ahead, but at that instant they don't have that money, and without that money they can't get those assets, and with those assets there, the belief is that they're not going to grow. So all of those are rational reasons for debt. So at that point, I guess it's a matter of, where does that money come from, and how do you manage that, and what do you do with it? And again, it's a choice, but it's a little bit different than your personal life. If you're running your personal life off of credit cards, then, arguably Dave Ramsey has something to share with you that you'll benefit from. But
well, I think in your personal life, it's a lot different too, because the income that's coming in to your personal life tends to be more fixed, where with your business, there's you have so much more opportunity, or it seems like you have a lot easier opportunity to be able to grow what your money is faster. And you have more control over that in a more visceral way than with your personal income. I mean, unless it's tied to having a company. So having your own company, right? But if you're working for someone else, the amount of money that's coming into your personal income is closer to being fixed than it is if you are an entrepreneur. So
Yeah, your options at that point are to, drive for Uber in the evening, or, find another job, or buy
they're not
lottery
fixed, but they're
tickets.
closer for sure.
I'm
So
joking about the lottery tickets, by the way.
thank you, Tom. So do you have any, and we've never talked about this before, Tom, and so for everybody that's watching this, you might be like, Liz, why do you ask me questions that I don't have the answer to? I'm not knowing that you will. I'm just curious if you do have any kind of recommendations or benchmarks or parameters, anything that we can look at as to when people might want to be putting money into their business, like when they're a certain size or when they need a certain thing. And the reason I'm asking this is one of the things that I notice a lot is especially when I'm working with a smaller company, they want to be big in their minds, that what their idea of big is, so badly that sometimes they're spending too fast, that they can't grow into it quickly enough, and they put themselves into a really a precarious situation, just because of how fast they're able to grow, either in their area or because of their mindset or for whatever reason. So I kind of feel like they need to show some growth to be able to see how much they're going to be able to grow, to get a sense of how much debt it makes sense to take on. Or is there a number like, don't take on more debt than you can pay off in 2 years? Or is there anything like that? Do you have any kind of parameters or suggestions?
Well, a couple of thoughts on that. It starts with knowing your numbers. Taking on debt without having like your basic financial sheets. Let's just start, with the P&L and a balance sheet. And we've talked a lot about, how to structure a P&L on Smart Business Moves.
Yeah.
We spent the month of January talking about that. But in a nutshell, out of the money your customers pay you, the revenue, that money goes in one of several places. And if you think about it being split between covering what we call your variable costs, which is basically your labor costs, and that's variable, that goes up and down. With every home you clean, that number goes up. And you need to think of it as a percentage of the revenue that you generate. We talk a lot about this KPI metric, which is really important, payroll to revenue. If you know what that percentage is, then as your revenue goes up, assuming that number's static, and for the sake of this discussion, pretend that it doesn't change, that you can quickly figure out how much money you're going to have left over after you pay your cleaners. And that money covers your fixed expenses, and what's left over after that is your profit. So if you've got the mechanics in place, if you got the accounting in place, if you've got the chart of accounts set up, and a lot of companies, sadly, that we work with initially don't. They've been trying to run their business the way that their accountants set up their QuickBooks. And not to slam accountants, but I'll let you know that most accountants that work with small businesses, their purpose is pretty much focused all on filing income taxes. And for that point, they don't really care about variable cost or fixed cost or cost of goods sold or gross profit. All they want to know is what the bottom line is. And they set your QuickBooks up that way. It makes their life easier, but you really can't run your business from it. Mm-hmm. We've seen that, right, Liz?
We've seen it a lot, so much. And actually, I think we're going to have Danae on Wednesday, aren't we, Tom?
I'm going to be in Indianapolis on Wednesday. You may.
I will. I'm going to. And she's going to be talking about the chart of accounts a little bit and P&L and some stuff like that. So that'll be interesting. But so what you're saying, Tom, is first know your numbers, because if you know your numbers,
Then
then
you can make decisions with confidence. So once you know your numbers and know, you know, how you're going to pay that money back, basically, because whenever you're borrowing money, what it really comes down to is, well, I got all of these expenses that I already have that's going to require cash week after week, month after month. In addition to that, I'm going to be adding more of a cash requirement, paying this debt off that I'm getting ready to take.
right.
So then what are you going to do with that debt? And if you're going to be able to apply it in a way where it's going to generate more cash for you than what it's going to cost you to pay it back, that's called a return on investment. And if I can borrow money with confidence that, if I have to pay back $1,000 a month, but that money I borrowed allowed me to invest in equipment and space and people and the tools to generate more revenue. If I can get $2,000 more a month than what I would have before borrowing that, so I pay, I can pay $1,000 to cover the debt, and the other $1,000 is money that's going in my pocket, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you're going to pay taxes on that, so you don't get to keep all of it. But that's kind of the whole logic behind using debt. That you can start out without cleaning home one and use debt to start a business and grow a business and grow it quickly. But if you don't have the strategy, if you don't know how you're going to invest that money, and if you don't have a way of measuring outcomes and making sure that you're putting that money to work, what you don't want to do is spend it on stuff and wind up not generating any more revenue. Because if you weren't making money before, now you're even making less money because you have to pay the debt back. So that's where having the mechanics in place from an accounting standpoint and a KPI standpoint to make sure that you're putting that money to use to grow your business.
All right. So what do you think about this, Tom? And I know we've had a couple of conversations about this. So in the past, it made sense to invest in some things like cars, office space, just some different things, maybe different benefits for your employees. What are you thinking these days are good investment opportunities or options, or how about bad ones, or just things to think about in that realm?
That's a good question. Roll the clock back. Let's roll the clock back 20 years. What the heck? Because
back
we can,
in
right?
those days. Yay.
we can because we can, right?
Yeah.
The business model was different.
Oh,
Technology. I mean, we still had computers and there were still QuickBooks. There was even the internet 20 years ago. But barely. Yeah. It was more of an analog business for sure.
Yeah.
And it was more of a brick and mortar business. It was more of a what I call hard capital business. You'd buy stuff. You needed cars. You would need an office. You needed all of that just to make it work, because, these things weren't even around 20 years ago, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there were phones. There were flip phones. You you actually used them to talk to people. That was about it. You could text. I think you could text. But
how long have we had smartphones?
I don't know. I think about 11 years ago, the iPhone came out, maybe 11,
okay, yeah, not very
12,
long.
10.
Wow. Yeah. Considering how they've completely changed our lives, that's crazy that it's only been that amount of time. But okay, back to what you're talking about.
So back then it was like, yeah, buy space, because real estate's an investment, right? And you can occupy it yourself and run your business out of it. And I've played that game several times over the years, and it's worked well. But technology and this guy here had a lot to do with it. It's kind of changed has created more options for us in terms of how we can build a business and what type of business model that we use. And, we had this unprecedented event a little over, about a year and a half ago now?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. A little bit more, actually. Like a year and 7 months now.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where, the idea of social distancing and, not getting people together in big groups and, all of that has kind of pushed us towards, more people. I know in my business, and I believe in your business too, Liz, that you've got more, smaller teams, if not solos, and not even coming into the office every day. And there's a lot of efficiencies for that. And another thing that's kind of driving that too is what's happening with the cost of labor and just the demands of the workforce in general, that people want to be more flexible, have more control over their schedule and so forth. And spending time every day looking out of a windshield, driving to an office just for the privilege of getting ready to go to work. And then they have to drive from the office to, their first home that they're cleaning. And then doing the same thing in reverse at the end of the day is a horrible waste of time, right?
Yeah.
There's going to be a day, there's going to be a time that we're going to be telling people about how we used to do it in the old days. We're going to be talking about, like the yellow pages. People are going to laugh about that. People are going to laugh about in-home, no obligation, consultations in order to do sales. They're going to laugh about, you had people drive to the office every day. Why? For what? And it's like,
What
because
they go there for? What they do?
we gave them their work instructions on pieces of paper.
Yeah.
These are the homes you're cleaning today.
We gave them keys. We gave them paper. We gave them supplies. And people are going to be, but why? Why'd you give them all that stuff? That seems silly. Yeah.
So I'm giving you, I'm giving you a slow answer to your question.
Yeah.
But, is real estate still a good investment? Yeah, I think so. There's probably some deals out there right now. I know some. Actually, I've actually spent some time looking at real estate over the last week or so for other reasons, and there's a belief that there's a lot of pent up demand for office space, and it's out there right now. But the belief is, by next summer, a lot of that's going to be snatched up. That like in the news, there's a lot of things have happened over the last week or so with Pfizer's got this new pill that you take that's going to be on the market by the end of the year. It's like, if you get COVID, you take it within like 3 days and, you're not going to get that sick. The likelihood of going to the hospital is really diminished. And if you're vaccinated, not vaccinated, not whatever. And there, there's a lot of knowledgeable people that say that, really we're on the brink of saying that the pandemic part of this is over. COVID's going to be what they call endemic, that it's going to be out there for years and people are going to get it. But, well, here, take this, Pfizer pill and, drink some water and, take a nap and, you're going to be okay.
Wow, that's awesome. I hadn't heard that, Tom. That's awesome information. I'm excited about that. And how long did you say that they're thinking that that's going to be until that's on the market?
By the end of the year.
This year? Wow.
Yeah. They were doing all kinds of tests, and with the phase 1, phase 2, and the numbers were just so profoundly positive that, the FDA and the CDC said, just, hey, stop doing the test. No, you're just wasting your time. This stuff works. Let's just go ahead and get it to market.
That's amazing. All right. Well, I'm excited about that.
So,
I'm really looking forward to that. Okay.
So real estate's a play. You still got companies out there that are not doing well, and they're, a lot of people out there kind of want to get out of their cleaning business, and acquiring somebody else's, business, their customers anyway, can be a really big opportunity. It's a lot of details there. You just don't want to go out and just do it without doing your due diligence. And this is a whole nother discussion. There's a lot of ways that you can screw that up and lose money too. So I don't want to just say, just do it. But
I can tell you
done
how.
done, there's some risk involved, but there's also the potential for some big rewards there too. So that's a play. Um, Investing in your digital marketing, and again, this gets into your strategy. How big do you want to be? How many clients are you looking to attract? What are the competitors in your particular market? But building out your website and doing all the things from an SEO standpoint to make sure that you're getting the page rank you need in order to generate the demand. um
Good investment.
yeah, it's the technology involved, both from a production management standpoint as well as from a work measurement and KPI accounting standpoint. You don't want to, this is 2021 for God's sakes. You don't want to be, taking pieces of paper and trying to, jam something in a spreadsheet to kind of figure out what your payroll to revenue is. There's tools out there now where your cleaning technicians are doing everything through their phone, and all the data that you need to know if you're being productive and efficient, and in essence controlling your costs in a way that are going to get you the predictable outcomes, can be captured just through the normal course of work. And you should have a dashboard giving you the basic information. Just think about if you had to get a calculator out in your automobile to figure out, how many miles you could drive before you needed to get gas. You'd be running out of gas all the time, right?
Yeah.
You just
So
need,
I know that you can't really say this. You're not really going to say it, but software is absolutely a good investment opportunity. So, and I'm going to say it because I talk to people in groups all the time, and we end up having this conversation about, oh my gosh, but software can be so expensive. Absolutely, it can. But again, it's because it's an investment. Investments cost money. That's kind of how it works. You invest in it, and then it pays you back dividends on that investment. And so software is absolutely like that. A good software program should be making it so that you can make more money faster with fewer resources spent, etc. So
the bottom line is, once the investment is implemented, if you don't have more money in the bank at the end of the month than you did at the beginning of the month, without if you don't have incremental more money in the bank every month because of that investment, it wasn't a good investment.
right.
So when you're looking at technology, you need to be thinking about, well, how much time is this going to save? Time that I'm having to pay for. How much additional revenue am I going to be able to generate? How's this going to help me make better decisions to make sure that I'm getting the right amount of revenue for every job that I do? And how's this going to help me control my costs? How's this going to help me get more revenue per labor hour? Or the type of questions that you need to be answering, because that's really where the money is made. Which
Right.
is really what I'm going to be talking about in Las Vegas on Wednesday as part of the ARCSI, convention. If you really want to know more about how to make more money off of the homes you're cleaning, we're going to be talking about that Wednesday afternoon, I guess, after Liz and I do cleaning trivia on the trade show floor.
Yay. Well, sounds fun. I can't wait to do the cleaning trivia. You guys need to be there for cleaning trivia. It's going to be fun.
We've got awards, right?
Yeah, we do. We have PHC classes in varying degrees. So I think we have like a full 3-month all-you-can-eat program. I think we have 2 single classes. We also have some cups. We have all sorts of stuff. And you play on your phone, Jill. It's going to be fun. So especially if you think you know about cleaning.
Just before we got on the air, I was thinking about using debt from a business standpoint, and the most successful companies in this country have used debt. They wouldn't exist if it wasn't, a lot of them wouldn't even exist if it wasn't for debt. But, they're professionally managed companies, so they've got all the tools in place, and for the most part, they know how to use debt responsibly. There's 17 trillion, almost 18 trillion dollars worth of debt that businesses in the United States have on their balance sheet.
Yeah.
Trillion.
I don't know.
And
money.
We hear the word trillion flashed around a lot,
nowadays we didn't used to.
Congress just passed a trillion plus infrastructure bill to build bridges and roads and fix the trains and electrical grid and a long list of other things. I saw this and thought this was really interesting.
Wow.
1,000 seconds ago is like 17 minutes, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds reasonable.
It would 1,000,000 seconds was like 12 days ago. Okay.
Wow.
1,000,000,000 seconds is 31 years. So think about it. 1,000 is
Wow.
17 minutes. 1,000,000 is 12 days. 1,000,000,000 is 31 years. A
Wow.
trillion is 31,700 and whatever. That's like Neanderthal type stuff.
I can't relate.
You are a caveman in those in trillions, a trillion seconds. You go back a trillion seconds and we'd be in a cave with wearing a bear skin.
That is so hard to, although I do like, I still can't fathom that number. It's still too big for me, but it is easier for me with the years and the seconds.
So, a million, you think about a million, what's the difference between a million and a trillion? It's both a lot of money, right?
Yeah.
And it is, but
12 days to 31,710 years. It doesn't seem like it's that big.
1,000,000 seconds ago, we were getting ready for Halloween. A trillion seconds ago, we were out trying to, tackle a saber-toothed tiger for dinner.
We were using clubs. Wow, that's awesome. That's actually
so
crazy.
We are at the top of the hour.
What? Oh,
and
all that other stuff.
I am going to do band stuff towards the end of the week, and then I'm hopping a flight out of Indy, going to Vegas. So you guys come to Vegas, I'll be there, and we'll see you, and we'll network and have some fun. What you doing Wednesday, Liz?
I don't remember off the top of my head. I'm pretty sure that we're having Danae.
I think so. And I don't know Danae. Who's Danae?
Danae? Oh, she is the chick, CFO chick. Is that it? Chick CFO. Yeah, chick CFO. And she is very well known in our industry for not only working as a bookkeeper, but also working as your offsite CFO. So she is awesome. She is very down to earth, very energetic. Yeah, y'all are going to love her. One of the things that they do in her company that I love is when she, and I know we're out of time here. I'll talk fast. No, I won't, or I'll just start spitting. One of the things she does that is really, really awesome is when they balance your checkbook and they do all of your stuff for the month and they update your P&L and they do all of that stuff, you get a video. Every month you get a video from her that tells you what your numbers look like, where there's a problem, different suggestions on things that you can do to attack some of those different numbers. And if she thinks you need it to have a meeting with somebody, she is, I love these videos. Anyway, everybody that I know that uses her swears by her and swears by the videos. So she'll tell us all about this on Wednesday, but that was just a really interesting thing I thought that's different.
So that will be Wednesday. Her name of her business is Scaling Smart.
Nope. The name,
nope.
That's the title of
the presentation, Scaling Smart. Okay.
Scaling Smart.
Well,
so we're talking about
it's going to be good. I'm excited.
Good.
And
yes.
I might actually, I'm traveling, but we'll make a point of going back and catching that. So that'll be Wednesday, 5:00 Eastern, and we'll be in Vegas next week. So we're not going to be doing anything Wednesday, but don't worry about that. Catch Danae and Liz on Wednesday, 5:00 Eastern, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.